today we're going to first look at our vocabulary words for today. The first word we are going to focus on is the word partition right here. So I want you to take a couple of seconds to go ahead and think about what the word partition means. Go ahead and raise your hand when you are finished and I will call on out to you. So the word partition means split into parts or divide. You're going to split it into parts or divide. Now, for example, I'm going to go ahead and take this candy bar and I'm going to partition it into parts. I'm going to split it or divide. Now, I can either do that with a marker. I can go ahead and partition it just like so. I can draw a line through it and make it equally. Or I can go ahead and divide it by taking a pair of scissors and dividing it right down the middle. So when we do that, we have two parts right here. This is going to be what partition means. You're going to divide the candy bar. Divide the candy bar, okay? You're going to split it into parts, just like that, okay? So let's go ahead and think about what equal parts means right here. Who can go ahead and tell me what equal parts means? Let's go ahead and take a couple of seconds to think about that. Talk amongst your elbow partners and raise your hand when you're ready to tell me what equal parts mean. So the meaning of equal parts is having identical pieces of parts, okay? So we'll put that right there. For example, I can cut a piece of paper equally and we now have two equal parts of the paper. We're going to partition it into two equal parts. We cut it, we partition it, we split it, and we have equal parts. Equal parts is going to have a whole, and we're going to partition it, divide it into two identical similar shapes. They are exactly the same size, same shape, everything. They are equal parts, okay? So let's go ahead and think about what fair shares mean. What could fair shares mean? Go ahead and take a couple of seconds. So having fair shares means having parts that are the same amount. It is very similar to what equal parts is, okay? Very similar. For example, when you share a sandwich with someone and the sandwich is cut into two parts, there needs to be two fair shares for it to be for both of y'all to eat. Okay, so we're now going to look at our pizza on the board and think about the book that we just read, Give Me Half. How do you think the children in the book shared the pizza? Raise your hand and I will call on out to you. So the children shared their pizza by partitioning it into two fair shares. We can partition the pizza by splitting or cutting the pizza that we have into two fair shares for the children to share. So I'm going to take this pizza right here and partition it. What does the word partition mean again? It means to split something into parts. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut the pizza. But wait, I need two fair shares, one for the boy and one for the girl. So I'm going to partition the pizza into two fair shares. This means I'm going to need to cut it right down the middle. So we're going to go ahead and cut right down the middle. Okay. So we have two fair shares of this pizza. Two fair shares. So how many pieces of pizza do we have now? How did I make two pieces of pizza from that entire pizza? Are the pizzas fair shares? Because remember, fair shares is having parts that are the same amount. So we have a piece of pizza and we partitioned it, we split it into parts, and we now have two fair shares. We split it, we have pieces of pizza that are exactly the same exact size, everything. So therefore, we now have fair shares, two fair shares from that pizza, okay? So we are now going to partition this sandwich that I have right here into two equal parts. So how can I partition this sandwich into parts? Okay? I want to equally partition this sandwich and I want there to be two equal parts. I'm going to cut this sandwich down the middle. Now, how many pizzas? Let's go ahead and cut it. I'm sorry about that. We'll cut it. Boop, 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 boop. Now, how many pieces of the sandwich do I have? The teacher counts, we have 1 and 2. We have 2 pieces of sandwich. Are my two pieces of sandwich equal parts? Are they the same? Because remember, equal parts is having pieces of identical parts. So yes, they look the same and they're split into 2, so they split into parts. So we partitioned it And we have 2 equal parts because they are the same. See? So now that I partitioned my sandwich, how did I partition the 2 equal parts? How did I partition the sandwich right here? And are the parts equal? How do we know the parts are equal? Based off of our definitions of the words. How do we know? So, how many equal parts do we have from the sandwich? Because we had one whole and we partitioned it. We split it into parts, into equal parts. We now have 1, 2. We have 2 equal parts because they're exactly the same class. So we're going to use this in our next guided practice. We're going to be looking at different things that we can partition into equal parts or fair shares.